Hello and welcome to Newsfeed, your daily dose of what people are talking about online, from news stories to what's trending. The artificial intelligence boom this year has ignited fresh discussions on the legal and ethical ramifications centered on generative AI. If you use AI to create text or pictures, whose intellectual property is it? Does the copyright belong to the person inputting the text prompt, the AI, or the data that it was trained on? Right now, there's no definitive answer, and that's especially troubling for creatives who rely on the eye of the beholder to give their work value. Some are taking their concerns to court. Zare has their story.
Surreal, ethereal, and feminine. That's how Kelly McKernan describes their work. With bright pinks, purples, and greens, it deals with the discomfort in the human journey. And lately, this artist's journey has also been threatened by something inherently inhuman: artificial intelligence.
I found that my name had been used just last year alone over 12,000 times, which discovering that as a single mom and struggling artist was pretty upsetting to find out that there are these companies profiting off of my name and my work. So I started to do a lot of research, find out like, how did this even happen? How are they making this happen? Why does this feel so gross and violating?
McKernan is one of the 3 illustrators suing AI image generators Midjourney and Stable Diffusion, and the portfolio platform DeviantArt for copyright infringement. AI's ability to create art exploded in the past year, and it did so by using real artists' works to train its algorithms. Now, the creatives are striking back to get what they're owed. They want control, consent, and compensation for all artists.
Not a single artist was consented. Not a single one agreed to their work being scraped off the internet and used by a company to profit from and take essentially work away from us. Because what's going to stop somebody from typing in my name when they want to hire me for a book cover but they don't have the money? So they're instead going to pay a subscription and just make something close enough. And that's a job that would have otherwise helped me pay my rent.
The US government has been trying to make sense of the shifting landscape in the world of art. In mid-July, the Senate Judiciary Committee held a hearing on artificial intelligence and intellectual property rights. Carla Ortiz, a digital artist and one of the 3 plaintiffs, was called as a witness.
They used my example a lot, and it seems like, I was able to bring the plight of my community, and I was able to put a human face to that. Because it's one thing to say, oh, it took from artists, but whatever. But then when you hear someone say, it took from me, it took everything I've ever worked for, and it took it without ever asking me, without ever giving me a penny, it's deeply, deeply immoral and unfair.
While the trio's lawsuit is far from over, it's already testing the boundaries of copyright law. And the results will form an ethical foundation for how AI tools will be trained going forward.
Monday marks a special birthday. Google is now 25 years old. Larry Page and Sergey Brin created the search engine on September the 4th, 1998. Back then, the internet was somewhat new to the mainstream public. Google's founders wanted to improve online searches, which at the time were quite rudimentary to say the least. Today, more than 70% of online search requests globally are handled by Google. The company is not only responsible for shaping the internet as we know it, Google has also diversified into pretty much every area of tech. It's become so ubiquitous that the word Google is part of everyday lingo.
If you need to know something immediately, you can Google it now, and we're just dependent on technology. 10 years ago, if you said you were going to Google someone, you got written up by human resources. It didn't exist.
5.5 billion searches happen on Google every single day.
Interesting facts about Google that you probably didn't know. On August 16, 2013, Google was down for a total of 5 minutes. In that time span, global internet usage was down by a total of 40%. If Google was to go down forever, I probably still wouldn't use Bing. Google's original name was Backrub. Eventually, the name was changed to Google, and thank goodness for that because I don't think I can see myself going to backrub.com. In 1997, Google tried to sell their search engine to Yahoo for $2 million. At this point, Yahoo is just a huge walking L, like every decision they make is bad. 16 to 20% of searches have never been looked up on Google before. The name Google was actually derived from the word Google, which actually means 1 followed by 100 zeros. That's a big number.
Every year, tens of thousands of people flock to an unlikely place, a remote stretch of the Black Rock Desert in Nevada. The nearest city is 220 kilometers away, but the Burning Man Festival's remote location and tons of fine desert dust is part of the multi-day event's charm. This year, though, deadly heavy rains have turned Burning Man's famously sandy landscape into thick mud. The festival is usually known for being a unique fusion of community, art, self-expression, and self-reliance, and also for its expensive tickets. Yes, we're talking at least $700 per person just to get into the campsite. Regardless of the hefty price tag, revelers still flock to the desert's heart in the western United States for the symbolic burning of a towering wooden effigy known as the Man, and some good electronic music. This year's Burning Man, though, didn't go according to plan. To start, getting to Burning Man this year proved a formidable challenge on August the 27th. Climate activists blocked the rural two-lane highway leading to the festival, causing a bumper-to-bumper traffic jam. Some activists took their protests further, chaining themselves to a trailer while demanding changes, including a ban on private jets and single-use plastics. Authorities eventually intervened, arresting 4 protesters and clearing the roadblock.
Get out now! Get out! On the ground! All of you on the ground now! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Don't move!
Well, if the plan was to disrupt the festival, Mother Nature was in on it too. Tropical storm Hillary unexpectedly crashed the party, drenching Black Rock City, prompting officials to close the roads leading to the festival, stranding over 70,000 people.
It's completely floated. It's so hard to walk. It's super slippery. And the playa is literally closed.
Covered in mud. I've been walking around barefoot for a while, but I finally switched back to boots. But it's pretty hard to walk out here.
Someone who tried to escape burned.
We were joking like there's going to be all these rumors that 70,000 people are stranded in the desert and they're out of food and it turned into Hunger Games. No, we're just doing minimum life activities. That's it.
To compound matters, the flooding made it impossible to empty the porta potties, and the closed entrance and exit points prevented fresh supplies and generators to be refilled. In the midst of this challenging situation, even famous DJ Diplo and comedian Chris Rock embarked on a treacherous 6-mile trek through the mud, hitchhiking and going barefoot before finally escaping in a jet thanks to a fan's offer. Survival instincts kicked in as attendees rationed their food supplies, originally meant to last until Monday. Rumors swirled of an Ebola outbreak, though no confirmed cases emerged, and tragically, one person lost their life during the event, with authorities remaining tight-lipped about the circumstances as investigations continued. On to another disaster. After the devastating fires on the Hawaiian island of Maui last month, locals are still struggling to rebuild their lives. It wasn't just homes that were destroyed, many lost their livelihoods as well. Before the fires, just 130 people had applied for unemployment benefits. After the blaze, that figure has jumped to 8,115, between August 8th and the 20th. The fires were the worst in Hawaii's history and one of the deadliest disasters in America. At least 114 people lost their lives. They spread so rapidly that people had to jump into the ocean for safety. Authorities admit they were initially ill-equipped to deal with the disaster and overwhelmed with its size and scale. Distraught locals advised visitors to stay away. But the lack of tourists has had a devastating impact on tourism, which accounts for 80% of Maui's revenue. With the flames now extinguished and the destruction mostly limited to the western region of the island, locals are desperately urging holidaymakers to return.
Work. We need to work. This has a financial impact of destroying our economy way worse than COVID ever did. Because if people, for instance, in our business, we have people canceling out for Christmas. And typically that's our busiest time of the season.
$5 on Maui come from tourism. So yeah, we've definitely taken a revenue hit, not selling beer in Lahaina side, and then seeing the mass exodus of tourism from South Maui as well. We shut down both our locations on the west side because we didn't have power. Kaanapali turned into a commercial kitchen to serve the community.
Maui is the most dependent county on tourism. And without tourism, they are in a world of hurt because there are no short-term economic alternatives.
In Lahaina on Maui Island, the cleanup required is immense. It's forecast it'll cost more than $6 billion. Celebrities, including The Rock and Oprah Winfrey, have called on people to donate towards relief efforts. But at the same time, locals are still angry with the authorities.
No alarms, no warning, nothing. Not even police rolling by telling us to evacuate or anything.
Hawaii actually claims the largest integrated outdoor warning siren system in the world, and the state's governor told us,
"We'll know soon whether or not they did enough to get those sirens going."
Phone alerts and local TV radio broadcasts did go out, though around the time power and cell service were down. And the governors also said that once the fire was going so quickly,
a mile per minute,
that it may not have made a big difference.
We have doubts that much could have been done with a fast-moving fire like that.
So others are blaming the state's electric utility for not de-energizing power lines. Preemptive shutoffs have become routine in California when the weather might damage equipment and spark a wildfire. That wasn't done here.
All right, on to what's trending. TikTok is the place to reach fame overnight. With each viral video, the platform is giving rise to new stars. But its latest talent may not exactly be what you think. Meet Amanda Schultz, or DJ Mandy, which is what she's known as on TikTok. The 19-year-old TikToker is just learning how to mix music and is looking for feedback on how she's doing. Okay, so far so good. Alright, that clearly needs some work. Though, in case you hadn't figured it out yet, Amanda's actually mixing badly on purpose. She's figured out that the road to virality lies in engagement, and her unorthodox tactic appears to be working. That terrible mix you just saw got 10 million views. The TikToker broadcasts live each night, doing the exact opposite of what most DJs usually do. And as a fiery discussion rages in the comments section about if she's for real or not, DJ Mandy tries to keep a straight face. Her skills, if you can call it that, have caught the attention of the music industry too. Even singer Charli XCX is blasting her music. And in less than a month since starting her account, Amanda is now one of the most famous TikTok DJs out there. And that's our show. Find our latest stuff on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you soon.